Hey everybody, welcome to Racetracks Films. We're here for Garage In Stock. We got a product spotlight today for you. We're out of Kaweah Creek in Southern California. This is the 2014 KTM SXF 350. This is a bike that competes with the 450s in displacement. We have Grant Langston, the Zulu Warrior, multi-champion, out here today to put the bike through its paces for you. He's a guy who did the intro for us for this model a few months back, so we're going to get his opinion on some of the changes we made for this bike. Some of the changes we made, starting with the top of this bike, are ODI lock-on grips. Really functional way to go for lock-ons. If you haven't tried these before, give them a shot. We ran the stock bars, which is a Renthal 999. We did go with a Ride Engineering offset clamps, 20.5. It's a rubber-mounted clamp. When we did the shootout, some of the feedback we got on this bike was there's some vibration in the front of this bike, and the suspension was something that people wanted to kind of deal with. So that's what we're addressing here today. We went with an InStyle graphics kit that matches the factory kit. You can check out InStyle to get this kit for you. This is a factory wave kit, and I want to make mention that we did lean on KTM for a lot of the parts on this bike. Most of the parts on this bike are what the team runs, or a variation of what the team does run. We got an FMF exhaust system on the bike. We left the motor intact. The new flywheel changes seem to put the power to the ground fairly well for this bike, so we wanted to keep that kind of the same for this particular installment. No mapping is done either. The clutch is the stock clutch from KTM. We kept the drivetrain the same. But other than that, the exhaust tip is going to have it breathe a little bit better for us here. We also have some kite hub against our RKXL wheel sets that are factory model. And then we got some Dunlops to wrap up the traction on the rims. And we went with the Team MotoMaster brake set here. Same size, a little bit oversized, but a little bit thicker, adding a little bit more power to the braking on this bike. We did do some titanium, not a bunch, but the Raptor foot pegs are a titanium variety, and we're excited about those. We kept the linkage the same, and one of the big changes we did do on this bike was we instilled factory services at WP, which is right out of Temecula, right by KTM. You can actually ship your suspension in. They can dial it in for any level you want. This bike today is set up for a vet intermediate novice rider, somebody weighing about 175 pounds. It's actually set up for somebody like myself. I did mention we got the Zulu Warrior out here, so we're gonna have him put it through its paces and give us some feedback on how he felt it ran. So other than that, we're gonna put this bike back on the track, let Grant lay it down, we'll circle right back with you.
Hey everyone, I'm Grant Langston. We're testing the KTM 350 out here at Kaweah Creek Raceway. Few things we've done to the bike. It's got some factory edition add-ons, some things that aren't a performance gain but look cool, graphics, hubs, clutch cover, a few things like that that do come from KTM. But there were some other things we did that did do a performance enhancement. We have aftermarket rotors on the bike. The brakes on the KTM out the box generally are really good, but I think with those waved rotors, just a little more bite, definitely a quicker stopping power, and a great feedback from both the front and rear. As far as handling goes, they made some changes with the clamps, slightly different offset. I really enjoyed this change. I think this is one of the biggest things that we did that had a biggest change overall for the positive. The KTM 350, a lot of complaints was the front end would push and tuck a little bit in the turns. We fortunately were able to put these Ride Engineering clamps on, and I noticed a huge difference with just more mechanical grip. It feels like the front wheel is more underneath the bike. You get in and out of some of those turns where there's not berms or ruts to bank off, and I really liked it. Suspension, it's the WP Factory Edition valving. For me, it was a little bit stiff in the initial part, but I've always liked it a little bit softer. But I thought it was really good, especially when you got a little bit deeper in the stroke, heavier landings, bigger braking bumps. There's some elevation change out there, charging down those hills. Worked very good, felt very stable and solid under me. So overall, a very comfortable feeling from the bike. We also did the lock-on ODI grips. Basically, you don't have to use glue. Great concept. You slip it on almost like you have two throttle tubes now. Tighten it up. We didn't have any issues with that. Only difference is I would probably go for a slightly thicker diameter grip. But that again, that comes back to rider preference. And as far as performance goes, no real engine work was done to this bike yet, but they did throw on a factory edition FMF pipe, which not only sounded cool, but with that and a bit of mapping work, it was very crisp, very preppy, and I was actually really impressed. We have a bit of altitude here, so you expect a bit of a decline in performance, but the bike was very, very nice to ride, overall solid. And obviously I've had a lot of experience with KTM. I helped develop their early stage two-strokes in the late 90s, and also being involved, you know, at Langston Motorsports. We are a KTM dealer, so we have done a lot with these bikes. So overall, I'd say go out and get one. I think you'll love it. So thanks for watching this edition of RacerX Films of the KTM 350. Please check out our sponsors below, and this will be featured in April edition of RacerX.